Good evening, everyone. I'm Bridget Coughing. I am the Vice Chair of the Plank Center Board of Advisors, and it is my very, very profound honor to introduce our final and very, very special award of the night. I think it's special because of the unique and very significant nature of the award itself. I think it's special because of the man being recognized tonight, our highly distinguished 2019 honoree, Kim Hunter, CEO of LeGrand Communications and LeGrand Foundation. First, a word about what is just a very, very meaningful award. It was named, of course, in honor of Betsy Plank, but to really recognize exemplary professionals who are in a class by themselves. It is really only given to those folks who have demonstrated an entire lifetime, a lifetime of commitment to mentoring, and have had a profound impact on others. And in turn, those others going on to foster relationships and mentorships and influence within their organizations, within their communities, within our profession that we all share and honor tonight. I think it's really important to note that this award is not given out every year. In fact, the award has only been conferred 2 times before. So tonight's honoree joins just 2 others in this category. The noted Ralph Campagna, Executive Director of Chicago's Off the Street Club, who was the recipient, the first one in 2016, and the very trailblazing Tom Burrell, who received the Betsy Plank Award just last year for his extraordinary work in marketing, multicultural advertising, communications, and a real trailblazer as well. So tonight, Kim joins this very elite group. He has touched the lives and the careers of so many people, and we'll now hear from 3 of his greatest fans. So please join me in welcoming Luis Sanchez, Director of Communications and Public Affairs at the Chicago International Charter School, Natalie Goodwin, Director of Global Corporate Communications, Hilton, and Jessica Shee, Director of Corporate Communications Strategy, Blue Shield of California, who will each share a memory about their friend and colleague, Kim Hunter.
Sorry about that. Good evening. I'm Jessica Shee, and for those of you who know Kim Hunter, you'll know why it takes 3 of us to honor him tonight. We represent just a minuscule fraction of the hundreds of students and professionals who are in this industry tonight because of Kim Hunter and the LeGrand Foundation that he founded more than 20 years ago, because he saw a lack of diversity in our industry, and he made it his personal mission to change that. We've all had the benefit of his mentorship, and because of that, I noticed when I moved back to San Francisco recently, I've been able to get reacquainted with many of my friends from childhood, and many of them are smart, they're ambitious, they're talented, but they're stuck in middle management. And I realized that the only reason why I've been able to get to leadership positions in Fortune 10 companies is because I had an ace in my corner. I had Kim Hunter, who's been there to push me, to counsel me, to give me tough feedback, and to lift me up and champion for me. And I'm so grateful for his support and in complete awe because I know that I'm only just one of the hundreds that he's been able to support, including Luis Sanchez.
Thank you, Jessica. Good evening. My name is Luis Sanchez, and I'm one of the many recipients today of the LeGrand Scholarship Foundation. Words such as leader, change agent, entrepreneur. These are the words that best describe Kim Hunter and his bold efforts in helping minorities like myself. We've been able to establish, we've been able to enter in the communications field and fulfill our dreams to go to college and beyond. He strives us. He pushes our buttons to go further. As a Latino and a communications professional, my life has been deeply impacted by the generosity of Kim and the LeGrand Foundation. His energies have not only helped countless folks like myself, but also fulfill others' dreams to build the next generation of communicators that reflect society. Kim clearly knows and understands what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur, PR agent. I see that in myself, and I see it in my future. And I can honestly say, with more conviction, and in my lifetime, that I will sometimes need people like Kim, and Kim has always been there for me. And I, hopefully, plan to follow in his footsteps and do the same to other mentorees I plan to one day mentor. So once again, I want to thank Kim Hunter and the LeGrand Foundation for every opportunity, because I know without him, I wouldn't be here today. And I thank you very much. Natalie?
Only for Kim does it take 3 of us to do this. I asked him earlier, how many people in this room do you know? Actually, how many people know Kim? Raise your hand. I would say just about everyone, right? I'm Natalie Godwin, and like Louis and Jessica, I'm a recipient of the LeGrand Foundation Scholarship. I was actually the first group of graduate students in 2006. And back then, the application was similar to a mini thesis. And I'll admit, I was working full-time, graduate studies at night, and I almost didn't complete it. I put it down, and I was like, I'll get to this later. The deadline was the next day, and I stayed up all night, and I got it in. I was probably the last person to get in my application. I'm so glad I did, because it changed the trajectory of my career. In the years that I've known Kim, I've called him before every opportunity that I've taken. He's helped me evaluate responsibilities, job titles, where the position lies in the communications team and the company structure. And he's actually even helping me navigate my latest career move. And that's really important for communicators who are really trying to find their way in this industry. More importantly, I'd like to thank him for helping professionals of color, especially Black women, to have our voices heard and to be seen. He's a natural leader who forces us to elevate our work, think globally and strategically. His tenacious effort to support the LeGrand Foundation helps him speak truth to power. And it is my honor to welcome our mentor, Kim Hunter.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. This will be the shortest acceptance speech ever. These 3 speak for why I get up every day. I always remind people I am 2 years shy of 60, I'm 7 years shy of Medicare, and every day I get up knowing my runway is short. Their runway is a lot longer. I want to thank the Plank Center Board of Advisors, all of the honorees tonight, but there is one person in particular I want to thank, because it was this gentleman who was flying in from Detroit when I was already at the Page Spring Conference, and he texted me and said, "Kim, have you arrived?" I said, "I have." He said, "You want to join me for dinner?" I said, "Of course." And it was Tony Savone, who's the Chief Communication Officer for General Motors. And Tony called this dinner to ask me, was I available on this particular day? But unfortunately, at the time, Tony didn't know the day. So when he talked about the date, he didn't have the date. And what happened was he had to go to a couple other the board members to find out, because apparently if I could not make the date, I would not be a recipient of this award tonight. So Tony Savone, I will never forget you for that. But Tony, you are a good man. I miss interacting with you. Tony's a member of the board of directors. He's an active board member. He's an engaged board member. And Tony is very much like a few people in this business that I absolutely respect and adore. And I'm gonna put him in the same category, which most of you have always heard me talk about, because I've known her for 17 years. And she was just elevated to the CEO role of Weber Shandwick, and that's Gail Hyman. And Gail has always been one of these individuals who never pigeonholed me. And Tony, you are very much just like her. You're the male version in many ways of Gail, without all the other stuff that Gail, we know about her. Good stuff, right, Rana? But I will tell you, when Tony called me one day and asked me, his son is here, I said, at least one of the sons, Tony has two of them. Tony said his son was coming to LA to go around meeting a couple practitioners, and he asked would I do it. Well, people know my mission, my passion is diversity and inclusion. Everybody knows it. I was trained by the general market. I know who I am. I have no illusion about it. But it gives me great joy when Tony, Gail, and others will pick up the phone and says, Kim, I got a family member, I got a friend who doesn't look like me, and Mike O'Neill's another one at American Express. It gives me the greatest joy to know, at the end of the day, my man, you're the future. I'm not, but whatever I can do, I'm happy to. So on behalf of the LeGrand Foundation, all of the former scholarship recipients who are in this room, and there are a number of you, could you please stand up? Everyone, that's the future. Thank you.